Hey guys, welcome back to the Team Ham channel. James here with my updated Altmile deck profile for you guys. I know some of you all have been requesting an updated list, so I'm here to deliver today, guys. Sorry it's been taking a bit, been trying to play test this deck, see the changes I've been doing to it, see if I like it, and so far, this list currently, I'm liking it a lot. It's been working a lot for me locally. It still has some bad matchups that I can't address, like Narukami. That's still one of my worst matchups in my playtesting. But besides that, it's been working pretty well, and I hope you guys enjoy. Without further ado, let's get started. So we're going to start off with the grade 3s. I'm sure a lot of y'all that are seeing this has already seen the last deck profile, so I won't be taking too much of your time. So we're going to start off with our main boss here, Mr. El Divine Knight Altmile. He's the main grade 3 you want to be on. He allows all your grade 2s to get the extra 5k shield, 10k power. And if you have another Altmile in soul, he gets an extra crit. He's your main boss that you want to be on, gives the pressure with your grade 2s. And the crits to your grade 2s, being able to swing for 2 damage each time is great. And then also, he allows you to search for a grade 2 from your deck and drop. So he also sets up your board as well. If you're not on this Altmile and you're on the other Altmile and stuck on him, you're gonna have a bad time. I'm just gonna flat out say it, guys. You gotta be on this guy right here. He's your main 3 you need to get. Speaking of the other Altmile, I still use 2 of this Altmile. He's mainly just a search target to put into soul. He's also really good on rear guard, because if you have no face of damage, he becomes a 28k on rear, so that's really nice, especially early game, combined with another grade 1. If you have to ride him, hopefully you can get to your other grade 3 quickly. If not, well, that's struggle bus. Struggle bus engaged. And then on to the grade 2s. We still run the 4 Soli Men. I like this guy as my grade 2 right target because he lets you search top 7 for an Altmile card, call it to rear. And then when he attacks, you can Soul Blast and return a rear guard in a different column. Back to hand, he gets +5. You mainly do that to return the grade 3 Altmile that you called off his effect. Hopefully it'll be this one right here. So that's why I want to see him, have him as my grade 2 rides, or have him as a 4-up still. And then I run the 2 Liverots. I tried running him back at 3 and 4, and I've been trying to find room for these other grade 2s that I love to run right now, so I had to cut him down to 2. He's been working for me, especially for the fact that you can just search him out with the grade 3 Altmile right here. And if you feel like you need to have him at 3 or 4, no issue at all. Go right ahead. But for me personally, having him as a 2 has been working just fine for me. And then we run the 2 Rebels. As I've said in plenty of other Royal Paladin videos, this is one of my favorite Royal Paladin units in the clan. Not only does he give protection to the back row, but he also allows you to put a non-grade 2 rear guard to the bottom of your deck to draw 2 cards, and then you call 1 from hand. Mainly you can use him to return the over trigger if you drew it early from your hands. You call the over trigger from your hand, do his skill, return the over trigger to the bottom of the deck, draw 2, call 1 from hand. So call something you were going to call anyway. So the fact that he can recycle your triggers, he can recycle an extra grade 1 that, you're looking for other grade 2s, you're looking for other combo pieces, you can return that grade 1, draw 2 cards. It's a very solid card. And yeah, I definitely still say if you can find room to fit him in your deck, do it. He cannot steer you wrong. Alright, so now for some of the updates I've done. From Overdress, I am running this guy, the Knight of Protective Spear Arthen. We never use his second skill because obviously this deck doesn't Persona Ride, but we mainly use it for the front row skill of all your other rear guards with different names get resist, basically. They can't be chosen by your opponent's card effects. So he protects your other 4 rear guard circles that are not him, but from being targeted by your opponent's cards. And imagine having him in the front row, and then you have this guy in the front row as well. So he's giving everybody resists, and then he's protecting your back row. So your back row grade 2s that you're going to be having cannot be retired by card effects and cannot be targeted until these 2 are removed first. So that's really nice protection to have, especially in a deck that requires a full board of grade 2s, such as Sir Altmile. So that's why I've been running 2 of this guy, and it's been working quite well. And now, as I said before, we want the grade 3 Altmile and Soul for this guy, so that way we can have our extra crit. And to facilitate that, I've actually taken from Overdress this guy, Drilling Angel. So if you're not aware, Drilling Angel says when he's placed, you can put a card from drop to your soul. Look at top 3. If there's a copy of it there, you can call it to rear. Regardless, you get to shuffle. We don't really care for the calling part. We care more for putting a card in soul. So when we put him on rearguard circle and say we have Arrow Divine Knight as our vanguard, if we have, say, this Altmile and drop, we can put him into soul with Drilling Angel, search. If we see another copy, you can call it if you want. If not, no big deal. But the main thing is, now you have your soul set up, your Arrow Divine Knight Altmile set up, and you are ready to go. And also remember, again, because this guy can search out grade 2s, if you have him in the drop, but you don't have him in hand, you can do his skill to search for him to be able to do that play of putting the grade 3 into soul. Why? Because this guy does not say 1 place from hand. He just says 1 placed on rear. So definitely been working very well in my deck. Loving this Drilling Angel. Definitely a must in Altmile, I feel. He also gives you additional soul for other effects as well, so that's nice. And then anyone who plays Altmile knows we have the Starlight Violinist. I've seen a lot of lists running 3 of this guy, 4 of this guy, trying to max out, make sure they have as many copies as possible. I've actually been working pretty well with Starlight Violinist as 2, for the reason that you can search him out, you have Arthen, and you have Rabble to protect him, and you'll always be able to recur him from the drop zone. Again, if you're playing against Narukami though, he's most likely going to be gone. So that's the one matchup that I'm just having the worst time with. So if you have any ways to counter Narukami or be able to fight it off, besides having Arthen on rearguard, do let me know. But for the deck profile, I run this as a 2-of, it's been working for me. And because I run a 2-of, I actually run 1 of the Hope Song Angel to be able to search for it. And also in Altmile, you have 1 to be able to have ways to counterblast, use up your counterblast. So that's why I also run this guy in here. Altmile wants all your damage face down, so that way you can get his first skill fully online, as you can see. So if you have no face-up cards in your damage zone, so to facilitate that, we run some units that counterblast like this little guy right here. So 1 of has been working. Another card that I've been loving to round up the grade 2s, I run 1 Maple. So I'm sure if you've seen in my other deck profiles for Royal Paladin, you notice that I run this girl. Love having this girl in the deck. You don't get to use her Thagria skill, but it's for mainly the first skill that if your grade 3 or greater Vanguard is placed during your right phase, if you don't have a Maple already, which you won't because you only have 1, you can call her to rear. So she's a free grade 2 to be called out from drop at all times. So not only can she benefit from Altmile's skill of getting all the extra power and crit, but she can also facilitate for other units that we run, such as this little boogeyman right here. But yeah, definitely a solid 1-of in the deck. You can search her out with Altmile, with Liverot, so there's ways to get her. So definitely run her in your deck. I highly recommend it. You won't regret it. Now for the grade 1s, we still run 4 of her. For Altmile players who know, she's self-explanatory. She searches for your other Altmile, potentially first turn. If you're going second, you can call her to rear. Search your top 7, get the Altmile. Put the Altmile in the soul to bounce her back to hands. That way your grade 3 is already set up in the soul by your first turn. So definitely a solid searcher. Definitely needed as a 4-of in the deck. Cannot tell me otherwise. And then we run the 4 Sisyphus. As you can see, I still do the 3 and the 1 from my last profile. We still do the 3 so we can search for Heal Guardians. We can also hopefully search for Altmile copies. And then the good thing about this Sisyphus is since you have to discard after you add a grade 3 to hand, say you have an Altmile in your hand and you have a Drilling Angel, so you're able to search the grade 3 off of the Sisyphus right here, discard it to the drop, and then you can play the Drilling Angel that's in your hand to put that grade 3 into your soul, and now you're already set up for your Aerial Divine Knight Altmile. We're trying to set up for Aerial Divine Knight, guys, if you haven't got it already. we're trying to set up that guy as soon as possible because he's our main 3 we want to be on. So loving that. And then if all comes to worse, we still have this one right here, so that way we can call him to rear guard. This is the old G era one. So you can call him to rear, reveal any grade 3, and search for the Altmile that you want and add it to hand. So let's say the game is going really bad, you have no Altmiles in hand, but you have him and you have a Heal Guardian. You can call him, reveal the Heal Guardian, search for the Altmile, add it to hand, and then you can discard. So yeah, definitely been still working with the 4 of these guys. Definitely try to fit him into your deck, guys, if you can. And then actually, a little bit different is I run now 3 PGs instead of 4. So I was originally running 4 of this guy, was loving this guy at 4, but I was trying to fit more grade 2s in my deck, and I really didn't want to take anything else out. So I thought, well, I guess I'll take out 1 PG, reduce my grade 1 count by 1. Don't worry, we replaced the other Sentinel with a Sentinel crit, as you'll see later. And I haven't been getting grade stuck, thankfully. It's been working pretty well. I like this PG a lot for the reason that it has a soul charge built into it, and it also has the overdress PG effects that if your hand is 1 or less, you don't have to discard, basically. But it's mainly that soul charge part, because Altmile, once you build this deck and you try it out, give it a chance, you'll notice that a lot of your effects are soul blast. So being able to have soul chargers is really nice, really handy, and it's the main reason why I still play this guy. If you feel that you want to use draw PGs, you can exchange this guy out for more 2s. I know some people get away with 8 grade 1s. I'm not that ballsy. I'm not that brave enough. So I still want to have my grade 1 count to be above 10 at least. So we run this guy. And then for the triggers, striding is very important in this deck. So we run 4 stride crits. Self-explanatory there. Run 2 of the go into soul plus 10 and draw crit. We're trying to build soul. Giving an extra power to our Vanguard circle is really nice. And getting a draw, I don't see anything wrong with that. So I've been told by some buddies to try out the overdress crits, and not a big fan of it. I'm still liking these more. If you like the overdress crits, you want to do that instead so you can go early game soul charging, hey, if that works for you, go for it. But I personally still prefer these. And then it's like as I said, we run the 1 crit Sentinel. Look how beautiful that is. Oh, love the SPs. If you guys don't know, my favorite rarity is actually SPs. When I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the old days, it was ultimate rares. Those were my favorite rarity. So being able to have pseudo ultimate rares, Vanguard, love it. And then we still run the 4 stand triggers. Being able to attack more than 3 times every turn when possible is nice. He also has a really nice one placed on rear skill. If your hand's 3 or less, you can return him at the end of the turn to draw. You draw first and return him, then you get to shuffle. So he gets an extra draw card as well. So if nothing else, if you really need a booster and your opponent just keeps getting rid of your back row in some way, you can just call him out. Oh look, Brave is active. He has his skill, so we're gonna boost for the 4, and then end of the turn we get to put him back and draw a card, and yeah, it's great. And then we run the 4 Heal Guardians. I feel this is also a little self-explanatory. We're trying to make it to grade 3, trying to make it to our grade 3 turn. We're also running to stride, so I value the grade 3s on the Heal Guardians very highly. So definitely run as a 4 of. If you want to run 20k shields because you feel that's needed, you can. But in premium, you're going to mainly be G guarding a lot over just normal guarding, unless certain situations arise. So, me personally, 4 Heal Guardians all the way. Then we run the Keter OT because broke. And our starter, right here, Mr. Milius. Now for the strides, as I showed, the boogeyman earlier, everyone loves him, everyone hates him, Mr. Crystal Luster. He is the main stride you're going to be going into for most of the game. He allows you to copy the Heart's abilities, so when you start on Aerial Divine Knight, you can take all his abilities. And then he has the GB3 Guard Restrict. If you have 3 or more grade 2 or greater units, every swing you need to drop 3 or more from hand. This is Altmile. Your whole field's going to be grade 2s. That's the plan anyway. So achieving that goal is pretty easy. And then the new Fighters Collection stride, or Premium Collection stride, sorry guys, is this guy right here, Eulogius. I'll use the regular one so you guys can read the text better. I've tried him out, but I feel that in Altmile, he's not as amazing as in other Royal Paladin decks. There have been some games where I would go into him first stride, just be able to get an additional imaginary gift force. That's the main reason why I use him, just so I can have 2 Force 2 markers on the board after first stride. But most of the time, you'll be G-guarding to get your GB3 count. If not, then you'll be first striding another stride. But if you want to run him, you can. He's not really necessary, at least for Altmile. I don't think he's necessary, but he has his moments. He does come up. And then we run, because we're running the 2 Eulogias, now we're running just 2 Aerial Divine Knight Altmiles. Mainly, he's still in here for the main reason of if I get damage tonight, I have no face-up damage. I can't really do any other skills with Altmile. I have really nothing else better to do. I can go into him, get a free grade 2 call off of him, and just get a free swing with that. And then we still run the 1 Transcending the Heavens Altmile. In some very, very few situations in matchups, he'll come up. For example, against Link Joker, this card actually came up and won me the game against my teammate. She locked my whole board except 1 front row rearguard circle. So thanks to him, I was able to do 3 attacks on that turn instead of just 2. I was able to swing with the rearguard first, then swing with him, and then his skill will call out another grade 2 mid-battle, and then I can put all the trigger effects on that grade 2. So just situations like that, he comes up. But for the most part, he's just in here because he's Altmile and he's cool. I think that's a good enough reason. And then we run the 1 Agnos. He's actually my usual first stride that I like to go into. Since we don't have that many grade 3s in the deck, we don't have too much to pitch for stride fodder. We want to conserve as much hand as we can. We go into this stride first, so that way we can just free stride for the remainder of the game. Do I do his skill when I go into him? To be honest, I actually do. Half the games I actually do activate his skill. The other half of the games I really don't. It all comes down to what the situation is. If my hand's a bunch of normal units, I'm just gonna, and I stride into this, I'm just gonna call them all and do his skill. If my hand's a bunch of triggers or defensive cards and I just want to set up for my next turn, I'll go into him and not do his skill. So it depends. It depends what the situation is. And for G guards, we have the 1 Maskall, just a free 10k extra shield. If you have a rear guard in the front row, he also flips up the G unit, which is nice. We still run the 2 Igraines. She allows you to get an extra 5k shield if your hand's 3 or less if she's in the Guardian Circle. And then if your Vanguard's Altmile, you can Soul Blast to give it another 10k shield. So she can be a total of plus 15, so she can be a total of 30k shield, which is really nice. So definitely run her as one of your main G guards. I run her as a 2 of, it's been working for me. If you want to run her as a 3-4 of, as long as you can get ways to keep building up your soul, go ahead and do it. She's really good. And now I'm actually playing 2 of the new G guard, and I have to say, in my playtesting, because I'm playing Altmile and how Altmile works, this G guard's really good. I feel this G guard was really designed for Altmile in mind, because she says you can choose any of your grade 2s units on the field. It gets 10k shield, and when it intercepts, you can counterblast Soul Blast, and it's a perfect guard effect. So with her, you can do her skill to choose a grade 2 in the back row, and then if you have a violinist on the field and you have no face-up damage, you can intercept with one of your back row grade 2s for let's see, with Altmile 5k shield plus another 10, you can intercept with a 20k shield from the back row. If you have a face-up damage, you wouldn't be able to do that, but you can do her skill, target the front row grade 2, and you can intercept with that grade 2, use up that counterblast. If there's no counterblast left or there's only one face-up, on your next turn you can do Aerial Divine Knight, do his skill, have no face-up counterblast, you're rocking and rolling. Full power aerial Divine Knight. So she has a lot of uses in Altmile. Definitely think she's worth it as a 2 of. I've never had to go into a 3rd. And then the last G-Guard to round it up, Mr. Dismal right here, because our rear guards are really important. We need to defend them. Alrighty guys, so that was my Aerial Divine Knight Altmile premium deck profile updated. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Hopefully you guys got some new ideas for your decks, or got some ideas you want to try out in your Altmile decks. All these deck profiles that I do for you guys, I do it so that way you can get ideas. We can exchange, you know, thought processes, thinking, you know, maybe we should try this. You know, I think this is better. With that being said, if you feel that I can improve my deck in any way, please comment down below. I love reading them. I love reading the comments that people have. If you got some good information out of this video, the video was worth making. Please like and subscribe on the channel. We're trying to grow. We're trying to get back into the YouTube grind. And so we appreciate any little bit of help any you guys can give us. But yeah, with that being said, me and Altmile here. Sayonara, guys. Y'all take care.